the Independent National Electoral Commission's chairman to appeal before the Chatham House as Supreme Court verdict rejected. Nigeria again. Okay, with the news in view, according to the statement, the group rejected the Supreme Court ruling affirming the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It added that the apex court used technicalities to defend the realities witnessed during the February election. Now, February of 2023, the presidential election was held, and it was seen with different forms of manipulation, electoral manipulation actually, and some certain things that were said to have come out that even the Inec could not even verify. But at the end of the day, the flag bearer for the All Progressive Congress, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was given win as the winner of the election. And even when sent to the Supreme Court, it was said that he actually won the election. Even after all the witnesses and all the technicalities that were shown at that time, it was just swept under the carpet. Now, the statement reads, "We have witnessed and observed the ugly events that unfolded during and after the 2023 presidential election. The outcome of the presidential election petition tribunal and the final ruling by the Supreme Court on October 26, 2023. The ruling dwelt on diversions and technicalities to undermine the substantial issues pertaining to our constitution and democracy. Now it has become clearer that every segment of our nation's or national system has been destroyed, while the three organs of government have been reduced to one as controlled by the executive organ." Now, I said earlier in the previous news that we have three major arms of government in Nigeria, which is the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. But whereas these three arms of government cannot function independently, becomes a problem to a country where the executive part of it gets to manipulate or gets to control the other arms of government. Now, moving up ahead, the world watches how the country with the largest population of the black race and the so-called giants of Africa continue to fumble and finds it ridiculously difficult to organize a simple electioneering process in an age where technology has made it easier. Now, due to the invention of technology, election has been made simple, just as every other thing technology has advanced in the country. Now, but it is appalling to know that a country like Nigeria cannot perform its rights, especially the Independent National Electoral Commission, cannot do what it is supposed to do and do it independently well. Now, we are very aware of the planned and calculated sabotage. While many countries are devising strategies to strengthen their economies, human capital development, and justiciable democracy institution, our beloved country is being consistently degraded by few self-seeking individuals with no patriotic plans for our collective future. That is very, very bad. Now, the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, the GCSDN, has asked the Nigerian electoral body, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to adopt electronic voting and transmission of results in subsequent election. Now, the group which made this call in a press statement signed by Comrade Prince Wamade Kosonko, GCSDN Public Relations Officer, explained that shifting the electioneering process in Nigeria to online will save cost and end persistent electoral violence in the country. Now, this sad misnomer portrayed grave danger for the unity, peace, and development of Nigeria in the near future. Nigerians are silent because, as the saying goes, people get the kind of leaders they deserve. Now, as corruption, furthers authoritarian electoral violence, and other manipulations continue to permeate the Nigerian judiciary and government of our country, are in commerce and our people are no longer safe. The statement of affairs is not only disgraceful among the communities of nations, it has worsened our already detained image as a country. We have people that have endured and tolerated enough as a people. Now, in the light of the above, we wish to state as follows. As Democrats, we respect the ruling of the Supreme Court, but we do not accept it. We shall continue to support all forms of non-violent action towards promoting democracy and security in our country, Nigeria. And we implore Nigerians not to give up on the country, but must continue to stand against all the challenges that mitigate against our development as a people. This will better be achieved when we ensure religion and ethnicity when choosing our leaders. We call on the Office of the Auditor General of Nigeria to publish how INEC spent funds released by the government and foreign donors for the conduct of the 2023 election. Now, I recall saying in previous news that the INEC has been given 18 billion naira just to conduct the Bayelsa State, Imo State, and the Kogi governmental elections. Meanwhile, they have not really told us how the fund was spent in the previous presidential and gubernatorial election. We're still hoping to see more of them. Now we call on the Chatham House to re-invite Mahmoudou Yakubu, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, to explain how he finally organized the elections in comparison to what he promised on their stage before election. We call for electronic voting and electronic transmission of results in subsequent election. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission must be creative, in organizing further elections in time with the realities of the country. Configure our biometrics and permanent voters card into the SIM cards of our mobile phones so that Nigerians can vote from the comfort of their homes. Enough of the bloodlettings and high cost of organizing elections. Now, the Nigerian Senate and the former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, Professor Atifuri Jega, have called for the amendment of electoral laws to ensure mandatory transmission of election results on bundling in INEC and diaspora voting. This is as Jega has insisted that the chairman of the commission should not be appointed by the president. The Senate position was contained in the COMPIC issues at the end of the 2 days retreat organized for senators by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILDS, in Ikotepene, Akwa Ibom State. The COMIC said that the diaspora voting would give Nigerians outside the country the opportunity to participate in election of their president. Now, it read it parts. INEC should be onboarding to improve its efficiency and effectiveness in the preparation and conduct of elections. Relating to the use of technologies in election, there is need to remove the ambiguity evident in Section 64 of the EA 22. There is also the need to make electronic transmission of results mandatory from the next general election in 2027. Uploading of polling units level results and result sheets used at different levels of result collation should be mandatory. And INEC should introduce diaspora voting at least for presidential elections to enable citizens to vote, especially those on essential service abroad, such as military, paramilitary, and other security personnel abroad, embassy staffs, and other citizens. Now, relating to political parties, the Electoral Act should stipulate sanctions for failure to submit register for party members no later than 30 days before the date of party primaries, congresses, or conventions, with the political parties having observed in the breach in the 2023 elections without penalty. That's what we have for you on the news today on INEC. Do well to drop your comment on this news. Thank you very much.